Okay, and then we get into the second beat, okay, on Family Matters, right? So, okay, first beat, we're talking a little bit about Kendrick, we make the claim that his general manager got, the father of his children is his general manager, okay? So that's the biggest part out of part one. We get into section two. Section two is a drill beat. Now, I want to say this. This second part, I'm not lying to you. This second part of this song is my favorite part of this entire beef. I promise you, there are two moments. It's the A minor moment when I first heard it, okay? And this second beat. I ran that shit back about 40 times before I even got to the third beat. The rapping, the flow, immaculate. Just I stand on the fact that Family Matters is the best fucking song out of this beef, or best diss out of this beef. I stand on that. Not Like Us is the best song. Family Matters is the best diss song to me out of this whole beef. I don't give a what nobody could say. Second verse of Family Matters, he's clearing a lot of people. He's starting off by clearing, I don't know who, but maybe about somebody he lip locked with or he ain't fuck her. Then we talking about The Weeknd and Cash. Then we talking about Rick Ross, okay? Then we give Kendrick another few shots. Then we fucking kill The Weeknd and Cash again. Then we go to ASAP Rocky and you keep your name out my mouth. Gas cause you hit my BM first. Nigga, do the math who I was hitting then. Riri, Fenty, next time you in bed, Tell Fring, next time you cut it in the bed, keep my name out your fucking mouth, okay? Then we get to Future. Pluto, that shit made me sick to my stomach. We ain't never been through it. Lil Wayne, Metro Boomin, you're fucking lame, so I know you had to be an influence, okay? He just went down the line. Who's next on the list? Which one of my so-called niggas? Which one of my so-called niggas? Which one of my so-called niggas need a shell from the clip? Always gonna have to smoke y'all niggas. I love that verse. There's nothing you can tell me about it. Now, back to the DJ Head and Mall conversation, right? So around that conversation, let's talk about them talking about the 20V versus one thing. 20V versus one thing. And it's always been this conversation of like, oh, it wasn't really that, or was it? Now, DJ's Head thing is, well, let's start. Maul was like, I feel like people had a problem with Drake. It might have been some things that was personal, but I also feel like the whole Future thing, obviously. And I feel like Drake wasn't necessarily providing a lot of the things or verses that people needed, and some people might have felt the way about that, on top of the fact that he's just the number one nigga. Now Head was like, I can't agree with that because I know some personal things that happened. And so he said with the 20v1 thing, the thing I don't like about that narrative is it that 20 niggas jumped you, or is it that you're in the same room with 20, or is it that you just so happen to be in a room with 20 niggas that don't like you? I think it's the beginning. And I'm going to explain to you why. This is my thing. This is the problem with what happened. It's nothing wrong, because this is the thing. I'm never taken away from the fact that Drake could be a shitty person, and Drake could have did something fucked up to Kendrick, Future, Metro, Ross, all of those people. All of that could be true, but the problem is, why wait? What if I use DJ's Head's example? No, this is what this is like. This is like if all 20 niggas is sitting in the room with Drake for about 3 hours, and everybody got a problem with him, and nobody say nothing for 3 hours. And then, 19 niggas, this is how it is. It's like 19 niggas sitting in a room with Drake, right? And all of them got a fucking problem with him. But nobody's saying nothing. And for hours, everybody's just sitting there. The 20th nigga come into the room. As soon as he sits down, he say, I don't fuck with you. You a punk ass nigga, I don't fuck with you. And then once he says it, everybody, all of the other 19 who's just cracking up with Drake, laughing, and was like, actually, I don't really like that nigga either now that you saying it, and everybody's jumping on him at the same time. That's the problem. The issue, this is what y'all keep trying to conflate. It's not the fact that 20 different niggas have an issue with Drake. That can be possible that all of them have a valid issue with him. That's not the problem. The problem is the timing. The problem is that all of y'all had a problem and nobody wanted to jump in Until now everybody at the same time want to address their problem. When Ross, you had God knows how long to address your problem with him. Weekend and Cash, y'all could have been addressed your problem with him. All of you niggas could have did that outside of Kendrick. Y'all waited for Kendrick to say something for the rest of y'all to buck up. And that's why it's corny. That I don't understand how people don't get that. It's not the fact that it's 20 different people that have a problem with him. It's the fact that those other 20 people waited till he was already on the floor and not on the floor, but in a fight to jump in. That's what it is. Kendrick and Drake was going just like this, back and forth, back and forth. And then Ross decides to jump in and pull on Drake's fucking braids. And then Weeknd decides to pull on his leg. And all of these niggas could literally, validly have a problem with him. But for y'all to wait until he's in a fight versus you seen him by yourself the weekend and you didn't say anything. Ross, you seen him by yourself and you didn't say anything. That's the problem. That's the issue. So the 20v1 is not a narrative. That's what happened. It's the same way that a couple of months ago, now Future and Metro want to say, oh, the fact that people think that we did an album and we had a problem with him and we were doing that to diss him, like y'all are trying to rewrite history like we were not there. That is what happened. The facts of the matter is that Kendrick took a shot at Drake and then everybody else felt the need to jump on the bandwagon. That is what happened. I'm not blaming Kendrick for that, but that is the facts. Whether you had a problem with him or not, you waited until he was in a fight to try to jump on him. That's corny, bitch. It's corny. So that's the second half of Family Matters. Third verse of Family Matters. Third verse of Family Matters comes on. Kendrick just opened his mouth. Somebody go hand him a Grammy right now. Which that actually aged so well. That aged so well. I know people were like, ha 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 ha. When Kendrick run his Grammy, he was like, oh, you think that y'all, like the Drake fans think that that's so funny. But no, that was the point. The point of him saying that is that, again, let's go back to the very beginning. That Drake has been trying to say about Kendrick. You are a media corporate darling. That's why when he says Kendrick just opened his mouth, somebody hand him a Grammy. Now, I'm not saying that Kendrick doesn't deserve the awards that he has. I think prior to this year, for the most part, he has. Yeah, and even some for this year, he does. But yes, he is. That was his point, is that you're the corporate darling. You're the corporate fucking black fucking power people that they want to put up. You're the token nigga. It's kind of what he was saying. You're the token nigga. That's what you are. You're the token nigga. So the minute that Kendrick says anything, they're going to hand you a Grammy. That's how that goes. You're the person that they picked to be that nigga. So Kendrick just opened his mouth. Somebody have my Grammy right now. Where's your uncle at? Because I want to talk to the man in the house. What's cold niggas do phase, right? Come get us whooping, I'm handing them out. You want to take company for real? Well, come and get look and see out of myself. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going through all the whole thing. So, we do that. So let's keep going. So then, it's also a video with that. So we see two cakes that say happy co-parenting, happy divorce. So we know some shit's coming down the line. We get towards the end of the verse. Proposed in 2016, but don't want to make her your actual wife. I guess this wedding ain't happening right. Your dark receipts is coming to light. Now, before that, he says, is it self-defense if you put your hands on your wife because she bigger than you, which is a ha-ha-ha joke, like a short joke. But at the same time, everybody was like, huh? Are you implying that he hit his wife? Then we go into the whole thing, back into the reason why y'all not married is because you was out here cheating on your black queen with white women, okay? The Michael Jackson, Prince flips throughout this whole battle was iconic. The one that Drake did, maybe I'm Prince and you're actually Mike. Top would pretty much give you change to do rap features and like pretty much rap for the whites. So you're trying to call me Michael Jackson, but it seems like to me that you're getting specifically put on Taylor Swift songs and Maroon 5 songs so that your ass can try to appeal to the whites. But you're talking about me. And you're telling me that that's not an actual, that's not an attempt for you to try to appeal to the white audience, is when you get on these songs that realistically you got no business on. And he ain't wrong. Well, he right. When the boy's wrong, he's wrong. But when he's right, he's right. And that's why Drake was trying to say, you keep trying to make yourself out to be like Oh, I'm for the culture. Oh, I'm this is not just me. I'm what the culture feeling. Like, you want to do all of that, but you're out here living foul, which is this whole thing. You are a fraudulent and you're fake. You try to portray this blackity black ass fucking I'm for the culture, I'm from the people shit. But when it really gets down to it, that's not how you move and that's not how you living. You out here fucking married to a mixed queen. You out here saying that you cheated on your quote unquote black queen with fucking white women. You out here putting your hands on fucking women. Like, all of this shit. That's pretty much what he's saying in this, right? He ends with, you hired a crisis management machine. You hired a crisis management team to clean up the fact that you beat on your queen. The picture that you paint, it ain't what it seems. You did. So again, the picture that you paint ain't what it seems. That to me is the synopsis of Drake's problem with Kendrick. And I think that's Kendrick's problem somewhat with Drake as well. Both sides. You're not who the fuck you make it seem like you are. Period. Period. So, yeah, so that's Family Matters. So I felt like Family Matters was super fucking strong. I was like, bitch. Ain't no motherfucking way. It was crazy work. Like, pure crazy work. Like, mind blown, right? So again, like I said, I didn't experience it how people did, where like they watched it and then right after it came out, I was asleep. So when I woke up, Meet the Grams was radio, right? So cool. I click over to Meet the Grams. Meet the Grams is pretty much just like Kendrick. It kind of seems like a little bit like, it's kind of like a therapy session, kind of, sort of. So he has a verse that's specifically for his son, talking about how his dad is a bad dad. Then he has, a verse talking to like his parents about how much, Drake has all of these issues. He got drinking problems. He got gambling problems. He got women problems. And then the last verse is about Drake having a daughter. Now, when I went online that night, what I saw most people talking about was the fact that it was revealed that Drake had another daughter. Let me be clear. When I went online that night, what was being talked about within that song was the fact that Drake had a daughter. I also want, because I know a lot of people say, oh, well, take that verse out. Take that verse out. Okay, great. We can take that verse out. But I want to be clear about what was drawing people in at that time, right? About that song. It was the fact that people thought that Drake could have another daughter. I wanna pull up because I have so many different things. That's oh damn it went away. Fuckity fuck. Anyway, it says Drake has a daughter. Drake has a daughter. Most of these like little little clips or whatever is people holding on to the fact that he said that Drake had a daughter. Personally, I did not care for Meet the Grams. I was really confused by a song. I felt like a lot of the stuff. Okay, so again, for me, maybe just because again I pay attention, but I felt like a lot of the stuff that was said about Drake in that song is nothing that at least I haven't heard people say about Drake before, or Drake hasn't admitted about himself. Drake admits all the time that he has a woman's problem, that he has a drinking problem, that he got I think he even said that like in No Face or whatever, like, I got a drinking problem and this problem and that problem and that problem and that problem. So for me, it was just like, oh, okay. But the best way that I can explain, so shout out to Lost in Vegas, right? Lost in Vegas to me summarized perfectly why I did not care for Meet the Grams. So give me 1 second, y'all. I'm a script to the very end of their reaction, because my biggest thing is I felt like this is a rap battle. I think they said it. If we're just going to be talking and not like barring each other up, I'm not understanding. So like, I want to go back. Hold on.
Yeah, if people are going to eat this up, my sneaky suspicion is, and I said this in the 616 video, people don't want to see Kendrick, someone who represents them. I mean, just look at him. Look at how he's approaching this song. He's coming from a place of love, and he's almost trying to be Drake's therapist, and he just represents a certain level of integrity. At least he comes off now. I don't know if Drake's allegations are true. That's crazy. But, you know, he comes off like he wants to be this beacon of morality, right?
Mm-hmm.
This sort of, this like example of a morally sound guy.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that people are going to look at this probably as some sort of like, oh, because they're going to love the angle. They're going to love the angle of Kendrick talking to Drake's kids. And they're going to let that angle blind them from the fact that the lyricism really, I like what he was trying to do in the last verse, but the lyricism is just very like a list of things of why Drake is a horrible father and is such a bad guy, right? And that's cool. If someone's a bad guy, cool, but there has to be some sort of wittiness and clever approach or clever tools that you're using to bring that to life. You know what I mean? It can't just be you listing how bad someone is. And if that's the case, then why are we even rapping? Let's just have an interview and do a fucking interview about how bad Drake is. That's what that sounds like to me. Like, just interview, what is your opinion on Drake, Kendrick? Oh, well, he's just a bad guy. You know, I just think he's a narcissist. That's what this feels like to me. It doesn't feel like a great rap performance to me. Double entendres, metaphors, punchlines, right? These are the things that we use to kind of at least measure skill. You know what I mean? And measure.
Thank you. They put it perfectly. Perfectly. It felt like to me like somebody just asked Kendrick, why don't you like Drake? And he just went through all of the reasons why he didn't like him. And it's like, okay, all right, you okay. Like it was just so confusing to me. And I've seen a lot of other people say that. DJ had said that he don't like Meet the Grams because he feels like it's too dark. I don't even care too much about the dark part. I just don't like it as a diss song. Like they said, it sounds like he's just saying shit that he don't like about Drake, but like he said, but there is no real wittiness to it. And I know a lot of people's response to that is, well, that's not the point. It's supposed to be able to sit him down and talk to him like this. But it's like, but we're in a rap battle then. The whole point is that your bars are supposed to be much better, much wittier, much this, much that, right? So Meet the Grams comes out, and like he said, I knew from that moment that it was over because of the angling of it all. Like, one thing that Maul said that is very true is like, he didn't say it right when he was like, Drake didn't lose the battle lost Drake. I get what he's trying to say. What he was saying is that it's not that Drake lost rapping wise, he just lost angle and strategy wise. And like they just said, people really like the angle that he came from, because if you actually ask people to talk about the legit rapping skills, like let's talk about the rapping ability in Meet the Grams, not the angling, not that he was talking to his son and talking to this person. Let's talk about the actual bars. You cannot pull actual witty and clever bars from Meet the Grams like you can from like Euphoria. There's a whole lot of witty, good entendre bars. Triple, double entendres with him also dissing Drake at the same time. That's why Euphoria is the best diss. We'll get to that part again. We're going to hold on. Remember that and ask yourself, which is the best diss out of this whole thing? Out of all of the disses that he dropped, Euphoria is definitely the best, especially lyrically. People just really like that angle, and people like the angle of him stepping on it. That's why, like Ma said, the strategy was perfect. The execution of it was perfect. And that's why, like I said, I gave Kendrick the win, because I feel like he edged Drake out from that perspective. But if we're talking about lyrically, Family Matters versus Meet the Grams lyrically, it's not close. Lyrically, we're talking about, it's not close. It's not close. It's not close. Matter of fact, you know what? Because I don't even listen to Meet the Grams like that. Oh, I think I might listen to Meet the Grams twice. Let me see something. If we go to Meet the Grams, right? Meet the Grams. I'm going. Okay. Meet the Grams. Let's start from like the second verse. I'm gonna just read a little bit. Never let a man piss on your leg, son. Either you die right there or pop that man in the head, son. Never fall in the escort business. That's a bad religion. Please remember, you could be a bitch even if you got bitches. Never cold switch, right or wrong, you a black man. Even if it don't benefit your goals, do some push-ups, get some discipline. Don't cut them corners like your daddy did. Fuck what Ozempic did. That's cute. Don't pay to play with the Brazilians. Get a gym membership. Understand, no throwing rocks and hiding hands. That's law. And that's pretty much the whole thing. There is nothing creative or witty about those bars. Nothing. Again, like they said, you guys like the angle. The angle is dope. The angle is dope. But it's even, to me, drops even further with the fact that you have a whole third verse for something that's not real. A couple of things to me about that. You have a third verse to a child that don't exist. And to me, secondly, I think it was lazy. It's lazy to do what Push did. That's some lazy ass shit. I don't care what the Kendrick fans say. The Kendrick fans try to erase that shit. That happened. You did a whole third verse to a child that a year later we still have not fucking seen. It's literally wrong because there is no other fucking child. And it's lazy because it's what Push did. And I'm so glad that Rory asked. Rory said, you don't think, Head, that was a little bit lazy to do what the other person did? And like he said, the only reason that worked is because there was an actual child. If Pusha T does the story of Adidon, and most people will tell you, you want to know what was great about the story of Adidon? Not the rapping, bitch. It was the fact that he exposed the fact that he had a child, and he really did. But if he does the story of Adidon and he does not have a child, that does not hit the same. We're not going to just keep changing. And it's like, oh, take that verse out. Most people were hanging on that verse. What are we talking about? We're doing a whole verse about something that we are a year later and has not been proved. And y'all are still calling that the best rap song of all time. People are saying that that's the best diss song of all time. Like y'all didn't hear Ether or fucking Takeover or No Fucking Vaseline. That's the best one. That's not even the best fucking diss in this verse. This rant is for everybody who said that Meet the Grams is the best fucking diss. No, it is not. It's not even Kendrick's best diss in this fucking battle. Euphoria is. Clearly. By fucking light years. It's not the best fucking song. It's not the best song. It's not the best fucking song. You niggas be so fucking hyped up by the fucking angling of something. The angling of something. Y'all so fucking interested in the tea. That's what it is. One thing that Ish on the Joe Budden podcast said that people didn't agree with him is that I agree with is people wanted the mess. He's correct. That's why y'all picked that song as high as it is, because y'all like the messiness of it. And y'all specifically love that tea of, oh, Drake has a daughter. And for people to try to make it seem like for the first 48 fucking hours, that's not what people were fucking really holding on to is bullshit. It's bullshit. Okay? Anyway. Then, May 4th, 7:50. Not Like Us drops. Now, I was at a Cinco de Mayo party, a taco party. That I could tell y'all another day about that shit. But I was at a Cinco de Mayo party. And I was already ready to go, but I was sitting there and I went online and I was like, not like us, not like us, not like us. I tapped my nigga. I said, we gotta wrap this shit up. We gotta go now, not later, right the fuck now. We wrapped that shit up. As soon as we hopped in the car, I put that shit on. Let me tell you something. Like I told y'all the second verse in Family Matters was like my top 2 favorite moment of this. Bitch, that A minor bar, the first time I heard A minor, I lied to you not. This was my reaction. I said, no, not my fave. Oh my God. Because at that point, I knew it was over. At that point, I knew it was done. I had already seen this. The tides had been shifted since 16 in LA. And then once Meet the Grams had dropped, it was like really done. And then Not Like Us, to me, that A minor bar, the reason I was like, no, not my fave, is because I was like, that's the nail in the coffin. The A minor bar is the nail in the coffin. Damn it. I said, damn it, Drake. Damn it. And I knew specifically, I'm in marketing. I know how this shit go. It's going to be something that's catchy. It's something that people are going to say. The song was a bop. He pulled, like people say, he pulled the Drake on Drake. Drake kind of did a back-to-back situation. He kind of did a back-to-back situation with Drake. That's what he did. That's kind of what he did. So obviously, Not Like Us comes out, hit, huge or whatever. And then we go to the Heart Part 6, which is the next day, 9:19 p.m., right? And I remember I was cleaning up my room. I'm always cleaning when some shit happened. So I was cleaning up when that happened. Now, to be fair, the Heart Part 6, now I will agree with this because Rory had asked Maul, do you feel like his demeanor changed in Heart Part 6? And he said no. I disagree. You can hear, like, you can hear a little bit of the overwhelmingness from him in the Heart Part 6. I still feel like the Heart Part 6 lyrically was really, 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 really fucking good. I liked how he flipped a lot of the bars. He flipped the A minor bar actually really good. And people are like, oh, that's B minor, B sharp. That's not a thing. It actually is a real note. So, and for Parks, I know Parks felt dumb because looking back, Parks said that that's not a musical note. What it actually is, it is a musical note. So I really like that. Drake also claimed in the Heart Part 6 that he had sent like some false information about him having a daughter to see if they would actually take it. And he did. I also want to talk about that. When people always, I don't know how the fuck how did this go over people's head? When Drake said, I fed y'all information. And people said, why would you feed him information that you're a pedophile? That's not what he said. He said he fed them the information about him having a fake daughter. And y'all sat online for fucking a week and a half saying, why would you tell him? Why would you feed him information about you being a pedophile? That's not what he said. That's how I knew that people were not fucking paying attention. That's how I knew. Okay? So the Heart Part 6 at that point, now Maul says that by the time that comes out, the Heart Part 6 comes out, that, you know, Drake had realized that this was deeper than like them just going back and forth. And that the push, obviously, that was being seen behind Not Like Us, in a way that it seemed like the building was kind of in cahoots, made him look at things really differently, and then just pulled out altogether. So that was kind of the end of it. I ain't gonna lie. Thank you, God, Drake, for ending that, because I couldn't take another 24. I could not take another week of that. That was ridiculous. Think about this, y'all. From March 22nd to May 5th, for almost 2 fucking months, we were on edge, bitch. And then specifically, if we start from like April 19th, which is when Drake dropped, till May 5th, it was just chaos. Them 2 weeks, it was just nonsense. It was pure nonsense. Oh my gosh. So that was pretty much the end of that, right? So by this point in the game, you know, the beef's over. You know, I think that Drake, especially to like the masses, had lost before. I think Not Like Us, like I said, was the nail in the coffin. But I felt like there was a tide shifting ever since 616 in LA had came out. I saw the tide shift. And then the Meet the Graham step on was just like too much behind a Not Like Us. There was no way that he was gonna like come back from that. Now let's talk about real fast. DJ had them all talked about who was the underdog. I don't know. I've always felt like Drake was the underdog in that because, like Maul said, nobody who actually knows rap ever thought that Kendrick was just somebody that Drake was going to wash. Maybe Drake thought that, but nobody who knows rap thought that that Drake was going to get washed by Kendrick. I think that Kendrick didn't really have, I don't know. No, so when Maul says, like, did any of them have anything to lose? I think maybe Kendrick had a little bit more to lose than Drake in this, because if Kendrick loses to Drake, that shifts a lot of ways that people look at Kendrick. And I'm going to go back to what I said about Euphoria, right? What they said in Lost in Vegas is how I felt by the time like Meet the Grams came out. I felt like this is not for Kendrick. And I know a lot of people are going to think that's crazy, but I don't care. I don't feel like this back and forth, it's not a Kendrick thing. I feel like you can tell by looking at this battle that Drake watches battle rap. I think it's clear that Kendrick doesn't really. I don't think Kendrick's the best back and forth disser. Like, he's not. And this is why I keep going back to Euphoria. Euphoria is the best diss out of this whole thing to me from Kendrick. And most people will say that, even Kendrick fans will say that Euphoria is probably the best diss. But that's the first diss that he dropped. That means that everything from Euphoria is declining as far as in quality of like bars. 616 in LA, that is a decline. Meet the Grams has no type of bars in it. Not Like Us is a catchy song. It's not really barred up. Euphoria is the only barred up song out of all of these songs here, as far as a diss is concerned. That's why I stand with Lost in Vegas when they say Kendrick's not really the best at this. He's just really not. Good rapper, great rapper, but in a back and forth in this, nah. I'm good. I never want to see Kendrick go back and forth with nobody. And honestly, after all it was done, it pisses me off more about Cole, because I feel like Cole would have washed Kendrick. That, you want to know what's crazy? All of this happened, and I walked away being even more mad at Cole, because I feel like if Cole would have went against Kendrick, he would have actually won. And it also showed me that as great of a rapper that Kendrick is not the best rapper as far as battles is concerned. Now, as far as his strategy and his angling, amazing. Chess, not checkers, bitch. Chess, not motherfucking checkers. But if we're talking about bar for bar, like in a battle rap type shit, Kendrick is not that. And that's okay. And my thing is, that's okay. But that's what I learned from this. I learned that the way that I thought Kendrick would perform in a battle is not how he performed. He actually let me down. Very much so, bar-wise. I'm talking bars-wise, he let me down. Because again, Euphoria is the best bars that he had throughout this whole battle. 616 in LA, no. Meet the Grams, he didn't even try. Not Like Us is just a bop. It's just a bop. But he wasn't barring him up. And that's why I do agree with Maul when he said, as far as rapping, you cannot convince me that he out-rapped Drake. Sorry. Like I said, I got it. I had it tied, but I give Kendrick the edge. Because like I said, he out-strategized him and he out-songed him. Period. That's why, to me, he won. And if we're going off of general public perception, he was able to get the public on his side. Which I don't think was that hard, because a lot of people already don't like Drake. You know? But now that the year has passed, you know, obviously we've had the lawsuit, we've had the Super Bowl, you know. Maul talked about how he doesn't like Not Like Us, and he doesn't like the fact that it still performed. And I know I've said this before and I'm gonna say it again. People trying to compare back to back to Not Like Us need to shut the fuck up, because either A, you were not there when it happened. You were not there when it happened, or B, you are a Kendrick stan. It's one or the other. Because in no God's green earth can you compare back to back to Not Like Us. Back to back was a cute bop, but it wasn't played the way that Not Like Us was. The money wasn't put behind back to back. Drake has never even performed back to back the only fucking live fucking event that you can find him doing at back to back is when he did it. Drake did not go on tour and performed back to back. He wasn't going around performing Charged Up. And I think that's what Maul is trying to say, that for you to continuously go around the country and the world and perform that song, it just says a lot. I think eventually Kendrick should let the song go. Like fucking Nas don't walk around for fucking performing either. I think that it takes away from him a little bit. It's just a personal thing. I think that he can drop Not Like Us and you still have a very strong catalog. I don't think you need to continue to lean on it. But if we're talking about the business behind all of this, like when DJ had, like, Maul was like, you don't think, like, they were talking about the pop-up show, and he was like, yeah, he said, because, you know, the company saw what happened and they wanted to capitalize on it. He was like, that's not true. He said, you don't think that company saw what was going on between Drake and Kendrick and wanted to capitalize off of that? No. And that's where y'all lose me every time. There's big business behind all of this. Whether you believe it or not, there is business that's behind all of this. And the lawsuit that Drake pretty much did is pretty much saying that UMG backed Not Like Us in a different way than they would any other song, because it was pushing and promoting a negative image of Drake so that they can drive down his stock value while they were in the middle of negotiations. That is Drake's issue. At least that's what he's saying, is that his issue is the fact that there was a lot of weird shit done with Not Like Us. And it wasn't done just because it was a good song and it was a hit. It was done specifically to drive down the value of Drake so that when they're in negotiations, Drake cannot bang them over the head. I think you would be a fool if you didn't realize that there's obviously been a play behind this. And this is what I've always said. I think that Kendrick has his own problems with Drake. And I think that UMG allegedly UMG is using Kendrick's disdain for Drake as a vehicle to get what they want, which is to not pay Drake. So you don't like Drake. We don't want to give him any money. So what we're going to do is push your shit and push you even higher so that we drive his value down so that when it's time to come to the table, we don't got to give him shit. That's pretty much what's happening. And it's not to say that Kendrick is in cahoots with the label or something like that. And Kendrick is talking to them like, kiki, let's do this, Drake. I don't think that's what it is. I think Kendrick genuinely does not like Drake, and that UMG allegedly is using that to their benefit to fuck Drake over. That's what I think what's happening. That's what I think. That is what I think is happening here. So you don't think that it's weird that when Kendrick is winning, Lucian Grange and Jay-Z is fucking high-fiving left and right? You don't think that's weird? You don't think anything about that is weird? Which to me, like I said, goes back to what Drake has been saying from the beginning, which is that he feels like Kendrick is pretty much like a corporate pawn. Like he's being used. You're being used, bud. You're being used. That's how he feels. Yeah. So like I said, a year later, the GNX album came out throughout that year. We talked about that. I also want to know how a lot of y'all Kendrick fans feel about the fact that he did not drop another album. Because y'all swore up and down that when GNX dropped, that wasn't his real album and that he was going to drop another one. That's what I was told. And here we are a year later, and y'all haven't gotten anything but GNX. Just saying. I'm just saying what was said, okay? But yeah, so he's on tour. The tour is doing very, very, very well. Drake has dropped Sexy Songs for You. People were really on edge about how that album would do. People wasn't sure. Is it going to perform well? Is it not? Are people going to still be interested? Obviously people were still interested. It did the numbers it was supposed to do. It did like 2 something. And as normal, as time have went on, when the album first came out, people hated it. Now people love the album. I think going forward, I think it's weird. The reason why it doesn't feel like it's been a year, I think to a lot of us, is because we're still kind of in it, right? Like, yes, this was a year ago, but think about everything that's happened. We got like I said, hell, even Poor Antonio, the song, by J. Cole. We got that. Then we had the Super Bowl announcement. Then we had the Super Bowl and Lil Wayne debacle. Then the Super Bowl happens. Then we got the lawsuit. The lawsuits before the Super Bowl. Then we got the lawsuit. Then the Super Bowl actually happens. Then we got his album, Drake albums drops, and is that gonna perform? Are people gonna pay attention? Then that happens. Now, Kendrick is on tour, so we're gonna hear about it until forever or whatever, right? Well, until he's off tour, because then he goes to Toronto. I know we're gonna hear about it then. And then Drake said that he is dropping an album this year, and we will be waiting for that. So it's just like, it doesn't feel like a year because shit has still been going that's been connected back to them. So I feel like, one thing they brought up that I do want to end with is like the whole stan culture. I am not sure, like somebody said, if this is the best thing that happened or the worst thing. I don't know a year later if we can still tell. So far, it's not looking too fucking good. The stans are out of control at this point. Like, although all of that shit was fun, everything I just went through, what was not fun were the stans. That's what made me ready for this whole thing to end. And I had did a video during the battle saying I was over it, because it was very clear that there was no more like fair takes on it. People had already chose Kendrick's side, and like Lost in Vegas said, it's because he represents some type of like beacon of fucking hope for people. So that's the side that they wanted to lean on, and everybody in the media, everybody, and this is before Not Like Us dropped. This is before Meet the Grams. Everybody was leaning towards Kendrick because they wanted to. So there was no way that he was really gonna win long term. But the standness of it all was so annoying. You niggas got on my damn nerves. And I'm saying on both sides. The Drake fans, like, being absolutely ridiculous and not being able to hold Drake accountable for anything, like, I thought was fucking weird. Like, okay, for example, when the Drake fans was calling Kendrick out for, like, the whole PDF things and have morals and stuff, but you got Kodak Black and you got this person. Fair, true, but at the same time, Drake was talking about domestic abuse bars, but you cool with, but you just shouted out Chris Brown at the same time, like, and then they're like, oh no, that's not the same thing. No, it is. Both sides were being absolutely ridiculous. This is how I look at it as far as the disrespect. Everybody was being disrespectful across the board. Period. And I don't really care about that. I do understand what Maul was trying to say about the whole PDF thing, because that is some shit. I will say this, that the one thing about Not Like Us that some people said that I do agree with is I don't like how that song has kind of like trivialized that, like, that word. That's how, and I'm pretty sure that was not Kendrick's like intention, but the pushing of that song to me has made that word and made that like for fodder, like, and not as serious as it should be taken. Like, it's something that people just say. Like hearing kids, like, I forgot, somebody said hearing kids sing that shit is wild. It is. It's really wild. And it's weird. Like, I'm not trying to like jump on his back and be like, oh, you shouldn't have said it. Like I said, it's rap, it's whatever. I do think though that song has trivialized that word, and trivialized what that actually means. And that's what I don't like that came from this whole situation. That's some serious shit to call somebody. That is not a game. It's not for fodder. It's not to play. And I don't like what DJ Head did either, because when they asked him straight up and down, do you think Drake is a PDF? He said, well, what's the definition of a PDF? And then when they read it, oh, well, I can't say. Well, from that definition, no. But what is a child? Like, let's stop fucking playing games. I don't know, like, kind of like what Maul said. Maybe it's just some shit that y'all don't think it's a joke out there, or not a joke. Maybe some shit over there, wherever y'all from on the West Coast, maybe that's, I don't want to say a big deal to say, but you gotta be careful when you say certain shit like that. That is, like Maul said, the worst thing that you can say about somebody. And it's not that like the domestic abuse bars aren't crazy too. That's fucking crazy too. But there are levels to this shit. Be clear. There are levels to this shit. And I think it's weird. Like, it's one thing to say, this is my thing. It's one thing to say Drake messes with really young girls and we think it's fucking nasty. You mess with young girls. Like, when I mean girls, sorry. You mess with young women that you probably ain't got no business messing with. You messing with girls that's in their early 20s when you're in your late 30s. That's not cool. You shouldn't be doing that. I think that's one thing. But the PDF means a child, not a young woman, a child. And for y'all to try to make it seem like that's the same thing when it's not. Now let's talk about Shannon Sharp. If anything, that's much closer to that. Okay? What Bill Belichick is doing, that's much closer. Well, I think that girl's 24, so maybe not. But that's what I'm saying. So it's like, it's weird. It's weird work to me. It's weird work to me to I don't know. Certain things to me is just weird. And kind of like Maul, there's just certain things I'm never going to say about somebody. That's just the facts of the matter. But again, I think a year later, I think everybody panned out what they're supposed to. You know, like it or not, I thought it was an iconic weekend, no matter how you feel, no matter whose side you stand on. And I think we all agreed that, Cole, you are so disappointed.